Joining me now, Kristen Welker from NBC's Meet the Press. Good morning, Kristen. I know you're going to
Hi, Cheryl. Great to be with you.
Thanks. I know you're going to have a senator from Florida today. Let's start with Helene, because here in Georgia, we have a tremendous amount of damage. People still this morning without power in a cleanup mode. Talk about the impact of Helene sort of in that bigger picture, even in terms of the election.
Well, Cheryl, look, first of all, our thoughts are with all of you there in Georgia and everywhere that has been impacted by Hurricane Helene. This has been an historic storm, obviously, for the reasons you state, the fact that hundreds of thousands are without power still. The death toll continues to rise at this hour. We're going to be talking to Senator Marco Rubio of Florida about what he has seen in his state, what resources they still need, and what are their key concerns. And I think just taking a step back, Cheryl, what are the ways in which communities can prepare for these hurricanes, which appear to be growing in strength? That was, of course, the big takeaway from Helene, the fact that it was just so massive in size, so forceful when it made landfall. So a lot to unpack with Senator Rubio in that regard. And again, just the nation's thoughts with all of you there.
And the damage is extensive, and the recovery is a marathon, a long haul as we get close to the start of early voting, less than 40 days from Election Day. Are you hearing about concerns that it could cause some challenges for people to vote, even fewer voting locations?
Well, I think that that's always a challenge in the wake of a natural disaster like Hurricane Helene. And there is no doubt that state and local officials are scrambling right now, not just to clean up, but as you say, to make sure that voting, to make sure that the election can proceed as planned. So I think it's an all hands on deck effort. We know that, of course, President Joe Biden has declared an emergency in the states that have been impacted. So the goal is to get as many resources as are needed to all of the areas that have been impacted so that things like early voting can in fact take place as planned.
And here we are just a few days away from a debate between the vice presidential candidates. Talk about that timing and expectations for that moment this week.
Well, the stakes couldn't be higher. Here's why. Because right now, Cheryl, there's no second debate planned between former President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. So think about this really as the beginning of the closing arguments for both campaigns. I've been talking to allies of each camp. And for the Trump side, they are hoping that Senator J.D. Vance will stay on message, really focus on issues like the economy, like immigration. They, if you talk to Democrats, are hoping that Governor Tim Walz is effective at really backing Vice President Kamala Harris's policy agendas. The challenge for him, he hasn't been in that many unscripted settings. So the bar is high. If you look at the polls for each of these candidates, Governor Tim Walz has a higher favorability rating. Do those standings hold after Tuesday night? We'll have to see. The race razor tight nationally, as you know, Cheryl, and obviously in key battleground states.
No doubt, Georgia being one of those battleground states, things very tight here. I know you'll have some new polling numbers coming up, so we really appreciate the time and look forward to watching Meet the Press at 10 o'clock right here after 11 Alive Morning News. Thank you, Kristen.